My coworker kept taking credit for my work, so I let him present it. I used to work at this mid-level corporate job where the unspoken rule was whoever talks the loudest in meetings gets the credit. I'm not a loud person. I like doing my work, doing it well, and not making a scene about it. But apparently that made me the perfect target for Greg. Greg was one of those guys who thought charisma was a skill. Loud laugh, firm handshake, the kind of guy who says, let's circle back way too often. And for some reason, our manager loved him. Every time I came up with a new process or improved a report, Greg would mention it in a meeting. But somehow, the version he mentioned always made it sound like he came up with it. The first time it happened, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just worded it poorly. The second time, I started getting annoyed. By the third time, when he literally presented my entire project plan in front of our boss without even changing the file name, I was done. So I came up with a plan, slow, subtle, and beautifully petty. Our next big quarterly presentation was coming up. Greg, of course, volunteered to lead it. I did most of the prep work, as usual, while he strutted around the office talking about how his new system was going to blow management away. Now, this presentation was important. It wasn't just slides. It was a live data demo connected to our internal server. That meant whoever ran it needed to actually understand how it worked. Greg did not. So I built two versions of the report, one real, one slightly altered. The fake version looked identical but pulled in nonsense data after a few minutes. Numbers that didn't make sense, graphs that looped, and one tab that literally spelled out, "Ask my name if you're lost." Hidden, of course, behind a macro he didn't know existed. A few days before the big meeting, Greg asked if I could send him the finalized deck and report so he could polish it up. I smiled and said, "Of course," then sent him the decoy. The day of the presentation arrives. The entire management team is there. Greg's in full salesman mode, all confidence and cologne. He opens the report, starts clicking through, and for the first 2 minutes, everything looks fine. Then the data shifts. The graphs start doubling back on themselves. Totals jump from $20,000 to $2 million, and a big red warning pops up that says invalid data source. You could see his face drain. He starts fumbling, clicking random tabs, muttering things like, there must be a sync issue. Someone from management asks, "Greg, can you explain what caused that variance?" He stammers, well, it's complicated." That's when my boss turns to me, because she knew I'd built the original system, and asks, "Do you know what's going on here?" I kept my expression neutral and said, "Looks like he's using an outdated version. I can pull up the correct one if you'd like." I opened my laptop, plugged in, and ran the real report. Perfectly smooth, clean data, everything balancing. I walked them through it in 2 minutes flat. When we finished, Greg looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him whole. After the meeting, he tried to corner me and say, "You sabotaged me." I just smiled and said, "I sent you exactly what you asked for. Maybe next time, check your work before taking credit for someone else's." He stormed off, and for a week, he barely spoke to me. But the best part? Word got around. Management started noticing that every Greg idea was actually something I'd already done. Within a month, he wasn't leading projects anymore. I was. Eventually, Greg got transferred to another department, which everyone knew was code for, "You're not needed here." I didn't celebrate out loud, but inside, oh, it felt so good. A few weeks later, my manager pulled me aside and said, "I didn't realize how much of our progress came from you." I just smiled and said, "Yeah, funny how that works when everyone gets credit where it's due." Now, anytime someone tries to steal my work, I let them. Because when the spotlight hits, they're the ones who melt under it. And I get to watch the show as it with front row seats.